Hey guys, next up we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Age of Prime's Armada Sideways. So we have his package. There's Sideways as robot in vehicle modes with a mirror on there. On the side of the box we have Star Convoy, The Fallen, and Liege Maximo. Back here there's Sideways in his vehicle robot modes. The two Minicons look crosswise to make mirror, and then mirror riding the vehicle mode there. There's side of the box again, bottom of the box, top of the box. Yada yada. So when the listings for Sideways came out, I just assumed he would have his Minicons because Sideways really doesn't work without them because his whole gimmick, I'll get to that later. But he does, making him one of the only Armada figures so far to come with Minicons. I think the other ones are the repaint of Hotshot, Nemesis Prime. I think there's that Wheeljack repaint from Shattered Glass that comes with his Minicon. And the upcoming Jetfire, who comes with the Requiem Blaster. So, there you go. But here's what he comes with. You have Sideways here, and then Rook and Crosswise. So, his legs don't move. His arms don't move. They are just there because his arms move and his legs move, but I'll get to that in a second. But they're just there because. So, we're going to go ahead and remove those because they are separate pieces. It doesn't work like the original. You can actually combine these together if you wanted to, like, just have them as one piece. I usually just keep them separate. So, for the sake of this, I'll plug one here, one there. We'll get back to that when we get to the robot mode. But, we're going to flip that down to make Mirror's head. And then take Crosswise here. Flip the legs around. And then flip that piece up. Plug that together. And there we have Mirror, who is... I don't know if he's the true consciousness of Sideways or what. Sideways is a really weird character in Armada. Like, he's actually, like, an agent of Unicron, or is he actually Unicron? I don't know. Point is, he's not an Autobot or a Decepticon, really. He just kind of does Unicron's bidding. So, and then he gets blown up by Optimus Prime with the Requiem Blaster. So, there's that. But yeah, Mirror can, of course, ride Sideways, and he works really well. Now, he has a kickstand on this side, but my copy tends to lead the other way. So it really doesn't matter that he has a kickstand because he's going to stand no matter what. And this wheel on mine does not roll very well. This front wheel rolls just fine, but this back one does not roll all that well. Take it or leave it, I guess. Now let's go ahead and disconnect all the things. And you might be wondering, well, he's got an Autobot symbol there. So the old toy, before I get to that, you would plug one of the headmasters in, and it would flip up an Autobot or Decepticon symbol. The new one can't do that. You have to flip it manually, and there's no blank one. I wish there was, even if it was a separate piece. But there isn't. The transformation is a bit more involved than the original toy, so we'll fold these down. Flip out the legs. Open this up and flip that piece in. That up, straighten out his legs. There we go. Do the same thing on that side. Disconnect the front of the motorcycle. Rotate all of that around, then they'll just plug in right there. Flip out his arms. Which should just connect right there. There we go. Rotate that around. Flip that out, and then flip out his hands, which are a little hard to get to if you have relatively big hands like me. Do the same thing on this side. Then we flip that back. Rotate those up. Flip that up. And then push his head up. And there you go. There we have Sideways in his robot mode. And he looks fairly accurate to the show. He didn't have this head much. I can only recall a couple of times because he normally had one of these guys on, which we'll get to. He does look good, and he looks just like a better version of the original toy. So, articulation-wise, his head, it's on a full 360. It's on a ball joint, so rotation can look up and down. Rotation at the shoulder, in and out the shoulder. Turn at the bicep, elbow joint, wrist swivel, which is really tight on mine, but, you know, it's there. Rotation at the waist. Legs can go forward, back, in and out. Turn at the thigh, knee joint, foot rotation, and ankle pivot. So he's got good articulation, as most modern figures do. You can actually take his little blasters, and he can hold them like clubs. You really want to. I prefer to just have them as blasters. And yeah, there's that. So he still does, of course, have the mini cons. So what can these guys do? Well, we're going to rip him in half. And we'll start with Rook. So you flip that piece down. Just kind of rotate his arms. Disconnect sideways his arms. Then flip down his head. And then you can plug Rook in as the head. And there we have Sideways' Autobot mode. And then you can plug the feet in right there. So, you know, that's his Autobot mode. And he looks cool. This is not the mode you saw him more in the show. You saw this only, I think, twice. His other mode, which, if you want to flip the symbol properly, you actually have to disconnect it again, which is annoying. But the more common one he used was a Decepticon mode, so if you flip that piece out and then rotate his feet up like so, and then plug that in, you have his Decepticon mode, the more common one. You can plug the gun into the back or into the foot, and there, that's what he's supposed to look like. How I display him typically is I'll leave both the leg pieces on, then I'll flip Rook in, and I'll just plug that into the back. And you can plug this one into the back too, if you prefer to have the Autobot look. I prefer the Decepticon one, mainly because that's the one that he was more commonly using in the show. So this is the one I stick with. But I think he's a really solid figure. I do like him quite a bit. He feels really nice in the hand, too. I know some people were reporting the front of the chest popping off. If you know how to transform it right, it's not going to happen. I had it happen like my first transformation, and then I figured out how it works. The shoulder joints, I've heard, again, some people complain. Mine aren't so bad. But everything else feels really good. Though the wheels do tend to pop off on the back, but they're a separate piece, so it is what it is. But other than that, I like Sideways. I think he's a really solid release. And another knockout from the Unicron trilogy, well, Armada specifically. So there you go. I'm very excited for Armada Jetfire. So it's the most anticipated figure of the year, so I can't wait to get my hands on him. But if they want to keep making more Armada figures, please, you guys have been knocking it out of the park. So thank you guys so much for watching today. I do hope you enjoyed it, and stick around for more. Take care.